Joining us now is the founder of the Gateway Pundit, Jim Hoft, no stranger to the malice of lawfare waged by political opponents, including our own government. Jim, welcome to the program.
Hey, Chanel, it's great to be with you again. Thank you for inviting me on.
Well, it's always great to have you on. I want to, right up at the top, talk about this detail that the judge really pointed to. He said, bad faith, and when you look at it, the critics say, you know, the bad faith was grounded in this claim that you had purchased, made some expensive purchases, a car, a condo, and they're making that as reason to say that you pursued this bankruptcy filing in bad faith. How do you respond to that criticism?
You know, the problem with those arguments is they're just not true, for one. I actually was getting calls from the Washington Post and from these far left organizations before I even heard from my own attorneys that this decision was made. As far as this condominium, we purchased this condominium. I purchased this back in 2021, which was before this case was ever brought against me. So the fact that they're using this in the case as their argument is ridiculous. They had a couple other arguments. We have a very sizable website. We have over 3 million page visits a day. And we've done very well. We're a grassroots favorite, of course. We've done well as a business, but the reason we went through with this bankruptcy was because it's just cost us so much money month after month to fight all of these battles. And so we wanted to end them. And we thought the best way to do that was to declare a Chapter 11 in Florida. And we just disagree with this judge's ruling, and we're appealing it at the moment. So there's some news for your listeners and viewers. We're going to appeal this decision that was made last week.
Well, that raises some very interesting timeline questions, Jim. So as you mentioned, these purchases were made well before this case was brought. Is this specifically the Biden DOJ, or has lawfare been waged against you before this Biden White House?
Well, we've been caught up in lawsuits since 2017. I've basically had one lawsuit after another since then. But we do know in this case something very strange happened, and I wrote about this. This is something that you can read about at the Gateway Pundit, and that is that the DOJ was pressuring the attorneys and pressuring the individual who works for the DOJ, the special master in this case, to have this case thrown out. And that's very unusual, and we know that because he was talking about it. And so the DOJ inserted itself in this case, and that's very unusual. It certainly shouldn't happen. And again, it's not surprising when we're talking about Merrick Garland and Joe Biden and their Department of Justice, but it was very unusual that we found out that they were pressuring to get this case thrown out. And that's what happened from this judge that ruled last week. She threw it out, and I'm sure the DOJ is very happy about that.
Well, it's certainly not surprising considering just recently in a Supreme Court case, you guys presented evidence showing how the Biden White House was personally getting involved, trying to shut Gateway Pundit down and other conservative voices. But that is not out of character with this particular administration, even though you've been fighting back since a few years ago. This particular administration just seems very bold behind the scenes about tipping the scales of public discourse.
Oh, absolutely. And you're absolutely right, too. This other case we're involved in went all the way to the Supreme Court. It's continuing. It was pushed back to the court in Louisiana about how the Biden administration is censoring and shadow banning and shutting down conservative voices in America. I know OAN has been a victim of this. We certainly have. And we fought this at the Supreme Court. So isn't it interesting then that they're involving themselves in this Chapter 11 case in Florida? And it's just this is something that you'd read about in history books, something you'd expect from a tin pot dictatorship. not from the United States of
Yeah.
America.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.